All right. Thank you. So I start right now then, Kim?
Yes, you can go ahead, Bethzaida. That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning still to everyone, and thank you for the invitation, Kimi. My name is Bethzaida Fernandez, and I am part of the Roman Studies Department in the Spanish language program. And what I am going to do this morning is really briefly share some of the, a little bit of information about Latinos in Durham, some of the demographics and some of the sites, gathering places for the Latino population here. And I am going to share with you a few of the images that are that I have gathered also along with my students through my course, Latino Lives and Experiences in North Carolina and Beyond. And I would like to start with an overall data of the Latino population in the United States. And as you can see, we have grown quite a bit, and we keep on growing through the decades. And at this point, we're at 18.5% of the national population. And one of the characteristics of this community is the youth. It's a very young community, and also the power that they're beginning to have politically. And right now, speaking of politics, right now we have 15% of Latinos being able to vote, which is an increase from 4 years ago only. And many of these Latinos are in what is known as battleground states. And therefore, this is becoming more and more important at the national level. And next. And here we have, I just wanted to show you visually very quickly some of the growth of the Latino community, beginning from the 1.2% in the 1990s all the way to 2010 when we reached 8.4, and to be now, next slide, to be now at 9.6% of the population of North Carolina. And one important thing to consider about this population is that these are 60% of that population is US born. And that is important to note. 6 in 10 Latinos in North Carolina are US citizens. And most of the population, the origin is Mexican. However, we have also people from the Caribbean, mainly from Puerto Rico, and the other percentage, majority, comes from Central America, specifically from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. So that is also a very important number to consider. And as you can see there, near Durham in Wake County, we have also a large concentration of the population. Next. From the national to the state, and now we get to Durham, and we have a population of 13.2% in Durham. And again, that continues to grow steadily. And one of the last number that I found from the DPS, which is a good census to consider the children in school, show that 31% of the students at DPS identify themselves as Latinos or Hispanic. I'm using the term. Next. I just wanted to say a word about the languages, and considering that Durham is being seen as such a diverse place, and one of those things can be noticed through the languages that are spoken here. And this is some of the latest data that I could find regarding languages in Durham. And the thing to notice is that the Spanish language is the second language spoken after English. And that has to do, also is connected with the largest group of people that speak. The largest group of people being Latinos of Latino descent. That was just an illustration to show, and as I go around parks and little trails sometimes in my running, I've noticed more and more these type of signals that used to be only in schools, and I used to see them in the hospitals, and now we're seeing them in social spaces. And that kind of shows also how important it is to now to have the Latino community inform them in their own language, and how important it is to reach the spaces that they are using to communicate things, like in this case, well, with the COVID situation, it's very important that everybody gets the information in the language that they understand. So I just wanted to illustrate that with that picture that I took a few days ago. I found this picture, and I found it very descriptive of the way we see Durham nowadays, and it has been called the cultural capital of the Triangle. And that has to do with the changing face, with it includes, of course, the Latino community, but there's also population from many other different regions, non-Spanish speaking, but concentrating on the Latino community or communities, actually, we can see that there is a great variety of origins, of geographical locations represented in Durham, which has also added to the flavor and the color and the arts that are presented now in the county. One community that I did not want to pass as we speak about the communities represented in Durham, and even though this is a little bit away from Durham, I wanted to focus some attention to this population of the migrant workers. And this is some of the places that I visit with my course that I mentioned at the beginning. And it's only an hour and 20 minutes away from Durham. And even though it is a population that doesn't navigate the city, meaning they are not allowed to leave these living quarters, they are still part of the population, and one of the reasons why also families started to move here, beginning with workers and then moving in families, relatives to work in the fields, and then leaving the fields and settling in more closer to the city after some time. But I just wanted to mention some of the facts that are behind the migrant workers, and they are still a community that needs much support and better conditions for the work that they do, and that it's also notable to say how important they are for the agricultural industry and for the economic growth of North Carolina. And I just also wanted to mention, the fact that in North Carolina, the law says that the children have to be 12 years old to work in the fields. However, you can find children as young as 6 years old in working in the fields now here. Moving from the fields to here, more into the city, we can probably see more of these. We're seeing more art being displayed. We're seeing more films in Spanish. We're seeing more Latino residents being involved in different movements, in different spheres of the city, such as schools, art, film, as I mentioned. And this is all coming after probably the first center was open as a resource for the Latino community, which was El Centro Hispano, which opened with a different name. I think it was Spanish Resource Center in the early 90s. And it was open because of the growth of the population. And this was the first stop for the Latino community that was coming in to gather information, assistance, support. With the growth of the population, really at the end of the 90s, this resource center became El Centro Hispano, which has always been a very important place for the Latino community. However, there are many other institutions and organizations that have opened since then because of the growth of the population. Next. And as we are represented in the arts and in film and in history and In the schools, we also have the latest addition of the Latino representation in politics, in the political local sphere, with Javiera Caballero, who became the first Latino person and woman city council member this past year, and it is going to be there until 2023. So that also shows a little bit of the movement and a little bit of the impact and the visibility that the Latino community is having in Durham. And we are going to, I'm going to expand on these 3 pictures that I just wanted to mention briefly, that with my class, I go into the community and with the students and participate in different sites and different events that are geared to bring in the Latino community, bring them together and, you know, share their art, their culture, their language. And 3 of these, one event that is very important is this annual event called La Fiesta del Pueblo, which is held in September of every year. And another place of importance for the Latino community that has also grown is churches in general, but here I have an Immaculate Conception here in Durham. But there are many churches around North Carolina that are very interested in bringing in and supporting the Latino community and opening up spaces for them to gather as well and be supportive. And also the Green Flea Market, which is known not just by the Latino community, but other people are also participating in going there for food, for family reunions, for shopping, all kinds of things. And so these students, I'm gonna finish up this short talk with a video that the students from this class created a couple of years ago, where they wanted to showcase some of the places that are part of Durham, but also those that are specifically important for the Latino community and that showcase their language and their cultures. So we can finish up with that, Kimmy, if you can. Thank you. There is no sound, Kimmy. Well, I don't hear it. I'm not sure if people are hearing it.
I think I had to unmute myself.
When you think of communal spaces in Durham, North Carolina, what do you think of? Maybe you think of trendy bars and restaurants downtown, the Durham Performing Arts Center, the Durham Bulls Athletic Park, the Farmers Market, or maybe the Duke Gardens. But what other community spaces are there in Durham, and who do they serve? Durham is incredibly diverse, and a large part of that diversity comes from its vibrant Latino community. Over 36,000 Latinos, 13% of Durham's population, call the city home. And while they might frequent many of the same places that you do, there are other public spaces you might have never heard of that are central to this culturally rich community of Durhamites. The Durham Green Flea Market, commonly called La Purga, is a year-round flea market located in East Durham. It is open from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday and is a popular gathering spot for members of the Latino community, especially on Sundays after church. For many who visit the market every week, trips to La Purga are a family tradition. Vendors at the flea market sell almost everything, including clothing, toys, novelties, cell phone accessories, appliances, incense and body oils, crafts, and tools. Check out the food vendors to try a variety of foods, like elote, tornados, champurrado, and churros. You can also purchase quality produce, like prickly pear, that are not often sold at many grocery stores. The Durham Green Flea Market, La Purga, is a prime example of a central hub of Durham's vibrant Latino community. You can visit the market on weekends at 1600 East Pettigrew Street, or check out their website at durhamgreenfleamarket.com. For many Latinos, religion is an integral part of culture and daily life. The Immaculate Conception Catholic Church on West Chapel Hill Street provides an important space for Latinos to practice their faith, spend time with family, and join together with the larger Latino community in Durham. In addition to numerous weekly English masses, Immaculate Conception holds masses in Spanish on Thursday and Sundays. The church also provides weekly faith formation sessions, monthly food drives, and numerous other church-sponsored service opportunities. Immaculate Conception is also committed to social justice work, with committees dedicated to immigration reform, homelessness and housing, and environmental leadership within the congregation. The Immaculate Conception Catholic Church is a welcoming community, and services in both English and Spanish are open to all. If you want to learn more or find a time to attend a service, visit their website, icdurham.org. Since 1994, La Fiesta del Pueblo has provided an annual opportunity for Latinos from across the Triangle to come together and celebrate the Latino presence and culture in North Carolina. La Fiesta is a free all-day event, and in recent years, it has taken place in September on Fayetteville Street in Raleigh. Each year, around 20,000 North Carolina residents attend the festival, sampling different foods, visiting the vendors and informational tents, and enjoying the variety of music and dance performances. The festival also provides an important platform for Latinos to bring awareness to some of the issues currently facing their community. Even though it does not take place in Durham, La Fiesta del Pueblo is a great opportunity to learn about the local Latino community that is making crucial contributions economically and culturally to our city and our state. For more information about the next festival, visit El Pueblo's website, elpueblo.org. So when you think of Durham and its public spaces, we hope you will think of the Latino community here and the spaces that allow that community to thrive. They, we, all of us make up the fabric of Durham.
Okay, well, thank you. I think I'm gonna finish the presentation with that, and I hope you enjoy go and visit some of these places soon.
Thank you so much, Bethzaida. We really appreciate the context and focus on the Latinx community. And if anyone is interested in learning more about the course, it is featured on the Duke Service Learning website, Spanish 313.